Hey everybody, Scoutcrafty here again. Mishmash Monday, special Mishmash Monday. It's Memorial Day, very special holiday here in the States, and where we pay tribute to our fallen soldiers from all the past wars and whatnot. And I always make sure to get my property in order because there's a parade that passes here. As a matter of fact, it's passing here as I speak. Now you're probably wondering, why aren't you watching the parade? Over the last few years, the parade has changed, more than a few years, probably 10 years. When I was a kid, that parade was an hour long and it had soldiers and marching bands, and it was just beautiful, you know? Today, it's a bunch of people that mob along, and it's a horrible parade. I know that the thought maybe is that, I don't know. I don't even know if they know why they're marching. It's just a terrible parade, so I can't watch it. It just makes me sad. So I come down here to the shop, because we got a couple things to talk about. One thing I'd like to talk about is the other day I went out to look at my mail, and there was a package, a small package on the porch, and I heard something. I was like, what is that sound? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so this was the package I received on the porch, and it's from my buddy Reggie on the road over in the UK. But do you hear that? Can you listen to when I open it? Now, where is that noise? Look at that. Anyway, what this is, how nice is this, huh? He sent over a couple of old motoring magazines from the UK. Now, one thing about the UK magazines is that they were always a little bit larger than the ones we have in the States. For some reason. And these were this is an older one. This is from 1966. This one here is from 1960. All vintage. And you know, and look at this nice Volvo advertisement. As you know, Reggie's big into trucking. Look at that beautiful engine, huh? Volvo made some beautiful trucks even back in the day, and they still, even the styling to me, look at the interior of that, huh? Even the styling, I used to drive a truck years ago. The styling to me still holds up today. That's still an attractive truck, even today. Look at that little tanker truck. I would love to drive something like that. Still holds up today. But let me show you what I thought in these motoring magazines, especially this 1961, but all different advertisements and things like that, which I love these old, as he knows, old drawings and things of how to keep your vehicle running good and whatnot. An old vintage map that came with it. Magazines were, you know, quite the thing back then, you know, something that you might consider keeping and whatnot. But let me show you something really interesting from this 1960 magazine. This magazine's called The Motor, again, 1960. Look at here, and this is the stuff I always liked, you know, the things that you could buy. Cold weather comfort. It says winter accessory suggestions, and look at the old fog lights and with the fluted lenses. We all had them when we were kids. That was the first thing you put on a car. When you first got your car, you added some fog lights. It was the thing to have back in the day. But look at the battery chargers and snow tires, which people today don't really remember, but snow tires far superior to regular tires in the snow. But we have the MS rating on the radials, and they seem to get us through. But I love the accessories, and I love how they have all that in here. All the things you could buy. Heaters for your car if you want to add a heater. Remember, some cars didn't, believe it or not, some cars didn't come with heaters, you know, especially if they were sold in here. In the U.S., if they were sold down south, a lot of them didn't come with heaters. So, interesting book. I love all this old stuff. Reggie, thank you so much. Okay, next up, as you know, I've been doing a series of these cutaways, and your favorite of the ones I did so far, most people like this one because it was the globe valve that's on usually the radiators, and it's a big one. People like the big cutaway, so I picked this one up here. Check this out. This thing is a monster. You can see the size difference, right? This is a Walworth, and it's 1.25 inch, model 200. This is heavy. It's got the nipple in here. We're going to do a cutaway because this is different. It's a different kind of seating on there. It's not a gate valve. So we're going to cut this one. We're going to do a cutaway on this. It's a beauty, isn't it? Look at that. So hopefully this will come out. Let's get started. Now we removed the nipple, which was quite easy because they had dope on the one side. But you could see here the rust on the inside. Do you see how much rust there is on the inside of that? Now, obviously it was used. And to get this rust out of here, there's a couple ways you can do it. Number one, we have a round wire brush that I cut the tips off. Normally the tips have a loop at the end. I cut that loop off. You could put this in a drill and you could spin it through, and you can see this one will do a nice job. Another way you could do it is with the Dremel, with the wire brush, the wheel that comes in here, and you could go here and just go in small circles. That does an excellent job. But here's another job a lot of you don't know about. You take a dowel, wooden dowel, you cut a kerf down the center of the dowel, don't have to be exact, and then you fold a piece of emery cloth in half, like we did here, slip it into that slip, and then you could put this into any kind of drill and then insert it in here, and that will do it. So let's do a combination of those and see if we can't get all that rust, because that is really, can you see that? That is really in there. Okay, there we go. We got a good amount of the rust out. Last up, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little 50-50 on some piece of Scotch-Brite and go around the inside. Okay, there we go. We cleaned up the outside here. We cleaned the inside. And you can see here, we do have a very nice finish all the way through there. Again, it's no more rust. And the nice thing is that this will slip right onto any surface. A nipple is a great thing to have for so many uses. In fact, a lot of you pointed out the way of putting this in the vise without crushing it is to insert a nipple first before you put it into the vise. This way you won't oblong it. So I appreciate that tip from you guys. So we did the nipple. Now let's get to the other. Okay, so now you want to know why these things cost a few $100s for these valves. I'll show you why they're so expensive. Let's show you how that comes apart. Here's the hand wheel. The hand wheel comes off like this. This here is I believe this is the gland nut follower. This unscrews like this, okay? That you come off. This here is the gland press or gland nut, maybe. I'm not so sure with the nomenclature, but what this does, this pushes down on the packing material, which seals around the stem so you don't get a leak. So that's all that does. This isn't threaded. That comes off like that. Then you have the body, the upper body here. We take off this nut here, and again, this is all heavy bronze, right? That comes off. Here is the stem holder. Here is the plug. This is what gives you the seal, and you can see, I think this is stainless, all replaceable, swivel. Okay, this comes out. If you take the hand wheel, put this on here and screw it down, this will come out through the bottom. Once you get to a certain point, you could pull it out. There we go. Once it screws down and all the threads, you pull this out like this, and this will separate from there. Okay, look at that beautiful piece, huh? Look at the threading on here. That's like an Acme thread. This is a swivel on here so that it gets a good seal. Okay, all replaceable. You can replace it. And here's the best part. The body has the seat. Now, if you look in there, you see that seat? And you see it looks like an octagon in there? That is because there's a special tool that goes in there that you put it in, and you could replace the seat if it gets worn out. So you can replace the seat and you can replace the plug, so you never have to buy, you know, this will last you 2-3 lifetimes. But, you know, people buy new. But isn't that cool? So now I got to figure out how I want to cut this so to make it, you can see what's going on. Now here's Walworth catalog number 52, and here's the globe valve, that the actual valve we're looking at here, number 245. And you could see here the cutaway that they have here. You can see it was made for steam. It's good for 600 pounds. It's got the replaceable. And again, this catalog had tons of all the different valves that you could possibly imagine, you know. And they were recommended for railroads or whatever, and they all had cutaways to show you how it works. But here we go. We finished this one here. What do you think? Let's take a look at it. cleaned up all the tops here, painted the top, and here's what the Cutaway looks like. What do you think of that? Let's take a look at this. This is absolutely phenomenal. And let me show you how this works now, why it's such a great valve. Okay, over here we have, like I said, the stem coming down. This little nut here holds the packing gland over here. And remember, this over here, this black material in here, that's this, actually. This is the packing gland material. This compresses and seals around this shaft so that no water comes up here. I'll show you why that's important in a minute. But this nut presses down on this little brass piece here, which squeezes that gland material against the shaft, okay? Here we have that Acme thread that I was telling you about that spins this over. Here we have, over here, this is the plug that makes, and you can see this precision part here. Can you see that? This precision grind here matches with the seat. Now notice the seat. This is a special nickel stainless, they call it, and you see how it's screwed into here with the threads, and that seat matches perfect. I'll show you that in a minute. And you can see all the threads and everything, and this is just lovely, isn't it? Now let me show you how this works when we operate it, okay? Now I turn this handle ever so lightly. It's so smooth, right? Watch down here how it seats against the seal, or the seat rather. Ready? There we go. Once it makes contact, it stops, and this will press down, and that's why you have this bearing that moves in here so that it makes a seat where if you had this one piece, it would wear away the seat. Once it makes contact, it locks down. Now, a lot of people don't realize that most valves, interestingly enough, have a in and an out. Now, there's nothing on this valve here. You can see by the Cutaway that we have. That's the part we took off on the top here. Now, there's nothing on this valve here that says in or out. There's no arrow or anything. But if you look at the valve here, and this is what's so impressive to me, you can see there's two chambers. There's an in and an out, okay? Now, the reason you don't want in coming in this way, because you could turn it either way, you know, and have the pipes come in. You want the pressure coming in from this side here. So when the pressure comes in here, it meets and it stops at the seal. That's all it is, this small area here, okay? If you flipped it around and had the pressure coming in from this way, the pressure would come in and it would start trying to go up these, you know, crevices through the gland packing and out the top, and that's how you get leaks if it's backwards. You know, you want the pressure coming in this way, that it's just stopped right here and it don't go anywhere else. Once you open up the valve, okay, once you open this up, you see, and now you're letting the steam or the pressure go that way, it's not fighting to go up through the gland and through the stem. So that's why it's important to mount your valves. Even ball valves have to be mounted a certain way. Now, what's interesting about this, remember, you know, a lot of people have been told, including myself, when you open up a valve, once it's open, you turn it a quarter turn the other way. Not all valves you do that with, and I'll show you why. And the genius of this, of the design. Notice here, okay, remember when it's closed. This is closed. Remember the seal that it makes down here. It's sealed. Now, if you notice here, at this point here, here, and here, there's another seal. So when I open this valve all the way up, watch what happens. That seal, watch top here, that seal will seal against the top, okay? And stop any steam from trying to work its way up through the gland through and making a leak. So that's a seal that way, that's sealed. And now they could do, you know, come through straight through. So that's why you don't want to have if you have a turn off of here, like we were told years ago with certain valves, the steam is going to try and fight its way up the threads and through the, you know, the stem, and that's where you get those drip leaks. Very interesting, right? I love this thing. What do you think? Okay, last up, you know, I gotta tell you, really enjoyed this valve. Loved the workings of this valve, different than any one we've done before. So I hope you enjoyed it too. One other thing I'd like to tell you about is my buddy Dave, who I met at Jacktown. He has a channel called West Highland Shop, and I really think you would enjoy his channel. I think you should go over. I have a link in the description. He's currently doing a 2-part restoration of a Craftsman vintage air sprayer, which is like a compressor. Man, oh man, is he doing a fantastic job. What a beautiful shop he has, so neat and clean. We can all learn something from it. So go check him out. I think you'll really enjoy that. And I hope you are enjoying this holiday. And I hope you have a great start of your week. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Take care now. Bye-bye.